Mike Westfall here at McDonald Garden Center, and today I want to show you just how easy it is to repot your indoor plants. Today I've got this Sansevieria, which is a snake plant, and it's still in its grower pot, which a lot of us keep our plants in the grower pot for a while. And what I can do here is just kind of lightly squeeze to see if this needs to be replanted. And what that'll tell me is if it's really tight, then that means that the root system has kind of become real root bound in there. What you can also do is inspect the top of the surface of the soil and see if there's roots growing out of the top. You can also, if it's in a ceramic pot or in a terracotta pot, then you can also pull it out just to see how root bound the plant is. And so as we pull this out, you can see there's a lot of root system, which means this is a good time to replant this plant. The next thing you want to do is pick out the right container to repot your plant into. I've picked out this really nice ceramic pot. It's really important to have a drain hole in the bottom of your pot. This one's got a drain hole. It's also got a saucer attached to it. That's not as important, but if you have one, that's great as well. You can also just get a plastic saucer to go underneath it if you need to for your furniture or your floors inside your home. What you don't want to do is go into too big of a pot when you're replanting your plant. Here I've got a great example of that. Great looking pot. The problem is that when you put this plant in there, you're gonna see that there's gonna be a lot of soil around it. And what that means for an indoor plant is that the soil is gonna stay moist too long, and therefore you could run into root rot issues. What you could do if you really wanted to use this pot is replant it into another plastic pot that's slightly bigger, and then you can just slip that in there and use this as your pot cover until the plant gets big enough to replant into this pot. But for today, I'm going to use this planter right here. A great general rule of thumb is to make sure your planter is no bigger than 1 to 2 inches wider in the diameter of your root ball. So next, we'll go ahead and plant it. Now that we're ready to replant our Sansevieria into this pot that we've picked out, we want to choose a good potting soil. And so we've got lots and lots of different types of potting soils here at McDonald Garden Center. For my indoor plants, I prefer our all-purpose potting soil. It's a nice light formula, and it allows the plant and the root system and the soil to dry out a little bit easier inside our homes. So what I want to do first is just take a little bit of this soil and put it down into the bottom of the pot just to create a base layer that I'm going to put my plant on top of. Once I've got the soil in there, I'm ready to take the plant out of the pot. And what I want to do now is just kind of lightly and gently loosen up the root ball. I don't want to tear it up. I don't want to use a knife or anything. I just want to loosen it just a little bit so that some of these roots are flaring out. Then I can go ahead and put it down in there. What I like to have is at the level about a half an inch to an inch lower than the grade of the edge of the pot. That allows a little bit of a reservoir so when you water, the soil is not spilling over the sides. Then it's as easy as just taking this great potting soil and just putting it right around the edges. And then just pushing it down nice and lightly. We don't have to put it down too tight. And then once I go all the way around this container and fill in all the way around the root system, it's repotted. It's just as simple as that.